We got an absolutely nuts episode lined up this week. 6 brand new video games to introduce y'all to. Nintendo has announced a $7 million lawsuit against a content creator. Amazon has dropped a new trailer for their Secret Level series, and we're gonna be breaking down every single frame. Xbox had a roller coaster of a week, surprise, surprise. Universal Studios and Nintendo just kidney punched my wallet by debuting Donkey Kong Country, and Take-Two has doubled down on Grand Theft Auto 6 release window, which means, my friends,
it is coming.
All of this and so much more on this week's episode of the Nerf Report. Warning, what you are about to watch was made for fans of video games. We do not pretend to be experts, nor do we want to be. Our opinions do not reflect the beliefs of the brands or the companies that may appear in this show. If you are a fanboy, toxic piece of sludge, or a grade A asshat, this show may not be for you. Can you see me? Let's just film the video.
Zip it! The ghost of Macho Man Randy Savage is here.
Oh my god! Yes, negativity sells, and it sure as hell makes clicking your thumbnails a lot easier. But I, as a gamer, as a nerd, as a creator, I am so tired of being upset for clicks.
Are you listening?
Welcome back, strangers from distant lands and my friends of old. We've got a really crazy episode this week because we got a lot to talk about, but first and foremost, I kind of wanted to dive into something because I've always felt that like this studio is kind of a safe space. And talking with y'all, I can kind of like level and be like, hey, I've got a confession to make and you guys won't judge me. At least 40% of the audience doesn't judge me. The rest of y'all are very, very brutally honest in the comment section. But I have a confession to make. Up until this week, I never played Halo. Yeah, so I have been a PlayStation gamer my entire life. My Halo was Resistance, and I never got to play Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, or any of the games. Actually, I mean, I being honest, I played Halo multiplayer on the Xbox Series X when it came to like Halo Infinite, but I don't know anything about the story. I obviously know who the characters are. I mean, how could you not? But like, I just had never experienced it. And one of the goals when we brought the show back from this kind of like vacation was I wrote down, I want to play games just as much as we talk about video games. So we've been making a goal to like film Let's Plays. So like you're seeing the Don't Scream series go on right now, and we had a new episode that dropped this week, and we obviously have another episode coming next week where we're kind of just trying to beat that game. But a series we're working on right now is my first introduction to Halo. So we went ahead and bought Halo Combat Evolved. We're playing it. And I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. I mean, for a game that's 27 years old, you have to like say like, dang dude, y'all did some work here back in the day. And I think it just is like a testament to, you know, the team at Bungie when they originally came out with that game, of just like how good the shooting mechanics are in that game. So, yeah, keep your eyes out. I think it's like 2 weeks from now, our new Halo series is going to be coming out. We'll see how the first game does in regards to like performance on the channel. But like, I would love to play all the Halos and check them out. But we're probably going to mix it up a little bit. So yeah, Halo definitely gets my seal of approval. I say that, but I'm like only like a couple hours in. I haven't really beaten the game yet. So maybe next week, by the time I beat the game, I'll be like, don't play Halo. But anyway, yeah, if you want to check out all of that, it's here on the channel. And obviously, if you're done watching this show and you're like, man, I want more Nerf gaming news in my life, don't forget, you can become a member here on the channel and not only support us monetarily and allow us to do cool things like create really cool content, buy video games, improve our lights, change the duct tape and bubblegum out to make sure the wiring is correct in the studio. But you also get access to exclusive content. And one of the things we've been trying to do is we've rebooted the daily series, where every single day we have a video coming out to Nerf Gaming News members where you basically get a rundown of the day's news. And it's nothing like this show, because this show's a little more long form. This one's a lot more compact. It's kind of loose. It's not as scripted. It's very like in the moment conversations. But what I've been really, really enjoying about it is like, it gives me an opportunity to kind of like prep for this show, because a lot of times in the past we sat down and it's like, I'm reading this news as, as we're doing the show. Whereas with the daily, we're able to kind of like start getting ideas, and that allows me to be a little more creative, and it allows us to put little ideas of like, hey, what if we did this sketch this week, or what if we did this in the show? And it's just kind of been a fun thing. So if you're wanting more Nerf gaming news in your life, definitely consider becoming a Nerf gaming news best friend or a casual friend. Either one. There's 2 different memberships. All of that content is available at the low cost of 99 cents a month, and we are going to be working on growing that library of exclusive content for members. If there's stuff you'd like to see personally, please put it in the comment section, and we will definitely try to get that addressed. And obviously, I want to jump into our next story where Nintendo is suing a content creator, because I think that is fascinating. But before we do that, I think this is a great opportunity to introduce y'all to a brand new video game that released this week and will be coming to PlayStation VR later in the month. And it's one of those that I'm like, man, once I'm done with this free show and once it's all edited and produced and uploaded and ready to go, 100% going to be buying and playing this game. So without further ado, enjoy Starship Troopers Continuum.
My name is General Rico. They asked me to say a few words about Clendathu 25. Big celebration. Remember the past. Heads out of ashes, people. We're still fighting this war. You, Trooper, all you newbies, it's not complicated. Whatever planet you're on, that's your planet now. This war you're in, this is your war. So squad up, keep your gun clean, and remember your training. I want you to kill every skittering, mandible-waving, trooper-eviscerating, pollinating bastard of a bucket you see. Just do your part!
You know, it's funny, when it comes to Nintendo, I don't know if it's just like something in the water over there, or they have like a very strict use it or lose it budget, because like it is the lawsuit season for Nintendo. I mean, last week we talked about Nintendo suing Palworld, right? And we dove into like the lawsuits and what Nintendo's accusing Pocket Pair of doing. But this week, Nintendo announced a brand new lawsuit that just kind of hit me out of nowhere. They're suing a content creator for $7 million, which I'm a streamer. I'm a content creator. I'm very vocal about my frustrations with Nintendo, and I have definitely said things that have upset Nintendo. I mean, last week I called them petty. So to make sure Nintendo doesn't sue us, I definitely want to start off this episode right. So excuse me for 1 second. Good afternoon, and thank y'all for joining me. Over the past couple days, it's been brought to my attention that terminology used on this channel to describe Nintendo might be deemed offensive and potentially open us up to a lawsuit. I would like to take this opportunity to apologize on behalf of our channel, the writers, and of course myself as a producer, and reassure Nintendo that moving forward, we will never use terms such as childish, insecure, idiot, baby, brainless, or the most egregious brains, dick, or what probably is the worst of them all, and in closing, to Nintendo, we will do better. Please, 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 don't sue us. Thank y'all for coming. Yeah, so the news broke this week that Nintendo is suing the content creator Every Game Guru for streaming emulated, unreleased video games. Which, I mean, let's just break down that what we just said. Emulated, unreleased video games. So number one, he's not playing the games on the Nintendo Switch. He's not buying them. And number two, somehow he's getting access to games before they're even on the market, which I think is just like, how? Like, you have to have somebody on the inside at that point, right? Like, somebody internally at Nintendo has to be giving you copies of the game. But, you know, Nintendo is one of those companies that I think is very anti-emulation in a way, because it's very against kind of what their core strategy is. And when you look at, like, emulation, for those of you that aren't aware, The idea is that like you take a game like the N64, you take the components of how you like play that game and how the code is read, and you create a computer program on your computer that basically can code that and read it and be able to turn it into a game, and you play it on your computer by downloading that game for free. Nintendo doesn't like that idea because, number one, you're not paying for their game, but like our argument is like, hey, you can't even buy these games to begin with. You know, like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, prime example. I want to play that game, but no one's selling it. And I really don't want to go out and buy a PlayStation 2 or go buy an Xbox to play it. So I'm kind of stuck. So emulators come in and they're like, hey, you could just emulate the game and play it. And it's like, okay, well, that's an easy way to do this. However, in the case of this, Every Game Guru is not just like emulating video games, right? He's emulating unreleased video games, which is what makes this very interesting. Most recently, Every Game Guru streamed Mario and Luigi Brothership pre-release. So he was playing that game before Nintendo released it. And obviously, Nintendo shut that down. Like, Nintendo, as we mentioned, is not afraid to just put out a legal hammer and just, like, ban people. And, you know, Nintendo claims in this lawsuit against Every Game Guru that on at least 50 occasions in the last 2 years, the defendant, Every Game Guru, has streamed gameplay footage of pirated copies of at least 10 different Nintendo games without authorization, all before those titles were released to the public. All of those streams were unauthorized and all compromised Nintendo's legitimate pre-release marketing. They also promote and encourage the downloading of pirated copies of unpublished games. Defendant streams often consist merely of him playing Nintendo's leaked games without commentary for an extended period of time. And there, my friends, is our loophole. As long as we provide commentary, Nintendo cannot sue us. Freedom of speech, America, the greatest country on the planet. Thank y'all so much. I mean, there's a lot in what Nintendo just said there, but the fact that this kid has done this, I shouldn't even say kid, this guy has done this 50 times in the last 2 years, and Nintendo has like banhammered him multiple times. It's insane. And this is something that even like Every Game Guru is aware of, right? Like he streams a game, Nintendo shuts it down, and he creates a new channel and he streams the game and Nintendo shuts it down. And I'm sure Nintendo Legal is like, who the hell is this guy? Like, why are we still struggling with this? And what I find as either the most idiotic or the most brazen like FU in this entire story is Every Game Guru responded to the lawsuit and Nintendo shutting down their channels by saying, I have 1,000 burner channels. I can do this all day. Which, shout out to 64-bit Captain America over here, who clearly is taking down the man. But look, the lawsuit is the lawsuit, and unfortunately, I do not think Every Game Guru is going to be able to get through this without being hurt. And Nintendo's not messing around. Like, they are clearly making an example of this to make sure nobody else tries to, because the lawsuit is stating that Nintendo is seeking $150,000 per instance, or per stream, or per leak that Every Game Guru has been responsible for. Which, shout out to the people over at 404 Media, because they did all the math, which I'm terrible at, and they estimate that this lawsuit is about $7.5 million, which, whew! Let me just do the math real quick. I mean, we made $200 here on the channel last month. $7.5 million divided by $200. I would have to be doing this show for the next 37,000 months in order to pay that off. So, anyone hoping that we're going to be streaming illegal copies of Nintendo games in the future, you might want to find a different channel to subscribe to, because that's not happening here. But even though streaming illegal copies of Nintendo is kind of off the table right now, I can introduce you to a brand new game. A game that I'm very, very interested about. I just discovered this recently, and I think it looks super cool. It's a free-to-play, third-person PvPvE, so player versus environment. It's an extraction shooter. Definitely check this one out. It's called Arc Raiders.
There is no way to hide. Kings, barons, queens. We give them different names, but they're all the same. Killing machines falling from the sky. This is our home, our bastion of resistance. This is where the brave meets the bold. We will not die in the shadows. We will face our fears head on.
The giant just left orbit, coming in damn hot.
Showtime.
Superman's coming in hot.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, let's go.
Watch it. Scout ahead.
Right there. Shit! Too many of them. Fall back now. Look out!
Confirmed impact. Baron is on the ground.
You owe me one.
Perfect.
Let's do this. Come on, it's the Baron! Hang on. Stay down. Go.
New contact. Breaking orbit. Southern Rust Belt.
They will never stop coming.
Marks on screen. Calling for volunteers. Enlist. Resist.
Did y'all see the reveal for Donkey Kong Country this week? Not the game, the park. We got to preface that now because, like, in the past, I could be like, yo, did you see the Donkey Kong Country trailer? And people be like, dude, I've been playing that game for like 20 years now. And it's like, no. We're talking about the park. So Universal Studios, if you're not aware, they teamed up with Nintendo and made this super cool Mushroom Kingdom experience in Universal California and Universal Japan, and it'll be coming to Florida very soon. But essentially, you got like Peach's Castle, there's like a Mario Kart ride, you can get Mario-themed food, and I think there's even a Yoshi ride there, but it's basically like a Mario Hogwarts land for Universal, right? They created a Nintendo land, which is super cool. Haven't been yet. I'm very, very interested, and this week, they announced the first expansion for that park, and it's Donkey Kong Country. So what they did is they basically built like an entire Donkey Kong themed expansion right here. We saw things like interactive congas where you can do like Donkey Kong, what was that game? Congos? Or Donkey Kong, whatever that drumming game was. I'm obviously going to get destroyed in the comment section for not remembering that, but the Donkey Kong game, there's Donkey Kong food and drinks, there's a life-size Donkey Kong mascot, we've got Donkey Kong merch, and there was a really cool Cranky Kong animatronic, and obviously we got the massive tease of the new kart ride, which, first and foremost, let's talk about that ride, because I have been hearing some cool things about this, that like, it's supposed to jump the track, right? Like in Donkey Kong, like the game, you're on the carts and you jump tracks, right? Somehow Universal figured this out. And I think it was like either on like patents or something like that we kind of got this leaked. But we didn't get to see the full ride, but like this ride is supposed to be like state of the art. And I hope it outrivals Mario Kart, because I've heard like some mixed reviews about Mario Kart, and I feel like Donkey Kong really has the potential to kind of kill that and be like the ride of the experience. You want to check it out. But they also have these Donkey Kong themed food, which this is where I'm going to critique Nintendo and Universal here, because I feel like you could have gone way crazier. So Nintendo showed us two foods. They're all like banana flavored. So you have a sundae that's in a Donkey Kong barrel, and then you have a Donkey Kong wild hot dog, which is playing it extremely safe. You know, you want to know why Disney is so much better than Universal Studios? It's the food. You go to Disney and the food there is amazing. You can get like, you can get a steak. You can get sushi at Disney if you want sushi. We went recently to Disney California, and my God, I could have spent the entire day just eating food. And when I look at like the food that they have here at Donkey Kong, I just feel like it was an afterthought. They're like, oh shoot, we gotta have food here. What do people like? Well, they like hot dogs. Okay, let's make a hot dog with some like Doritos on top. Okay, but what about ice cream? People also like ice cream. We'll put a sundae inside of a like a souvenir cup, and then that'll be good. And it's like, man, you could have done so many different things. You could have done like banana pudding, banana Fosters. What else could you do banana-wise? Maybe make a banana hot dog. Think about that. Instead of a hot dog bun, it's a cake, right? So it's a cake bun. Open it up, put a banana inside of there, maybe some chocolate fudge, some nuts, some whipped cream, and then you eat it. Whew, man. Caloric intake, I can just feel it from here. The other thing that interests me about this, and we didn't see it in the reveal, but like, are we going to see other mascots? Like in the Mushroom Kingdom, you've got Toad, you've got Luigi, and you have Mario you can meet. They just showed us Donkey Kong, which is cool. Like, nothing against that. It's his land. But like, do we get Diddy Kong? Which feels weird, but I have more of a connection to Diddy Kong than I do Donkey Kong. I love the Donkey Kong video game, right? Throwing barrels as you're trying to climb to get the princess. That's one of the most OG, best video games of all time. However, Diddy Kong Racing may be the most impactful video game of my childhood. And I don't even think I beat it. I was thinking about this the other day. I still have not beat Diddy Kong Racing. I think I got like 3 of the 4 sections on the dude's face open. And I would always try to like fly Diddy Kong's plane into like the gap of his mouth, being like, I can get in there. I can fit through there. I've never gotten to the final level. That's maybe it should be something we do on the channel here after we play Halo, is try to beat Diddy Kong Racing and finally get to it. But, you know, obviously I'm critiquing it here and like I'm saying like, oh, I want Diddy Kong and I want better food. But like, we're in such a great era to be a gamer, right? Like the games and the quality of games that we're getting these days are absolutely insane. And that's why I don't really critique video games as much anymore, because I'm like, dude, like the graphics are insane. Every single game that comes out, the graphics just are top of the line. Gameplay is fun. And there's just so many games to play. Like if you look at this year, you got Helldivers, you got Warhammer. What other games came out this year that were sick? You obviously have the Final Fantasy game that came out this year, right? Like Final Fantasy VII Part 2 or whatever it is. There's so many things to play and so many things to take your time that I'm genuinely like, who's playing these games? Like, you look at the numbers of Fortnite and how many people are playing Fortnite, and you're like, are there other people playing games outside of Fortnite? And then you look at Minecraft. How many people still play Minecraft? Grand Theft Auto 5. We are in the greatest era of gaming. And then you look at the movies. We're actually getting decent video game movies and television. Uncharted wasn't bad. We're getting a new Tomb Raider that I have extremely high hopes for. Looking forward to that. None of the movies that have come out have been like Doom, right? We got Ready Player One. Ready Player One, maybe the greatest video game movie of all time. Hands down. That is where the bar is at. But then, like, even on TV, you got Secret Level coming. And then we have stuff like this. When I was a kid, if I was like, hey, you want to go to the Mushroom Kingdom? I'd be like, dude, let's go. Let's go. I want to meet Mario. Or I want to go meet Donkey Kong. We now have that where we can take our children, or we can be children and go to those parks and have that nostalgia. And I just think it's so cool. And I mean, shout out to Universal and shout out to Nintendo. I'm very much looking forward to experiencing this. And so the news was the Donkey Kong Country is going to be opening in the Japan park on December 11th, which is right around the corner. And then the Florida park will be opening in 2025. I don't believe Donkey Kong Country is coming to California, so bummer there. But I will be going to Orlando in 2026. So my family and I were already planning a vacation to go to Disney and hit up Universal's new park. Definitely going to be checking this out. I cannot wait to go see Donkey Kong, Mario. And we'll have to film something here on the channel to like showcase what the park is and trying the food. And who knows? I'm trashing those hot dogs right now. But honestly, I've eaten a hot dog for lunch every single day this week. So I might have that dog and be like, dude, banana hot dogs, next level. Kudos to y'all there. But enough talk about food. We're in the studio here for a little bit more before I can eat, so I'm going to get very hungry by the end of this episode. So why not talk about a brand new video game? We've got another news trailer for y'all. This game looks nuts. And the release date came out this week. Obviously, it's a survival action RPG. We're talking about
The
woods are dark, and the woods lie deep, and the woods are home to summers don't sleep. So sit thee down and hear me tell of the woods that stand on Casterfell.
You know what I'm looking forward to? Secret Level. This show came out of nowhere. You know, let's talk about like Gamescom. You know, we're watching all the trailers at Gamescom, and I think it was like opening night live. And then they dropped this trailer for Secret Level. And admittedly, when I first saw it, I was like, are we getting a Ready Player 2? Like, are we already getting the sequel to Ready Player 2? Turns out it's this brand new show from Amazon that essentially is being produced by the team who made Love, Death, and Robots. And it's going to feature 15 different episodes, and all the episodes are their own self-revolving stories, and it's going to be revolving new games, existing titles, indies, and of course classics. And the list of games that are included in the show, like, I could not be more excited. I think that this show is going to absolutely kill. Games like Pac-Man, Warhammer 40,000, Concord, Mega Man, Unreal Tournament, New World, Armored Core, Spelunky, Honor of Kings, Sifu, Dungeons and Dragons, The Outer Worlds, Crossfire, Exodus, and PlayStation. Which obviously PlayStation's not a video game, it's a publisher. So I have to assume that that episode is just going to be like all of PlayStation's IP, which, God, man, that is, who do they include? Like, we already saw Kratos is in it. We saw Jin from Ghost of Tsushima is in it. But, like, how do you merge that into one episode, right? Like, do you make an Avengers? Oh, my God. Do you think PlayStation's going to be doing, like, an Avengers episode? Where, like, there's this overarching threat. And then, like, Kratos and Aloy and Nathan Drake and Ratchet and Clank and Ellie and Jin, they have to, like, all team up to fight this. And, like, maybe that trailer for Super Smash Brothers where all the characters were fighting. Imagine if we get that, but, like, every PlayStation hero, and you kind of get this scene where it's like, PlayStation, assemble, and like it's just like, and like they're all charging, and that has the potential to be the most badass episode. And out of these, I mean, I think the PlayStation one's the one I'm looking forward to the most. I also love Sifu. I think it's such a cool video game that I think everybody, when it came out, absolutely adored, and to kind of see them expand that universe, super cool. The other ones that are standing out, I'm just going through the list real quick. Warhammer, obviously, is going to be a cool one. It'll be interesting how they make a Pac-Man episode and, like, what style they treat that, right? Like, do they try to tell a backstory of, like, who Pac-Man is and who Mrs. Pac-Man is and why they're eating ghosts, or are they just ghost hunters? Like, imagine if Pac-Man was voiced by Zach Bagans, and the beginning of the episode was like, my name is Pac-Man, and my entire life I have been seeking the darkness. And he's just like kicking indoors, and he's like, if you're here, ghosts, hit me. I've obviously watched way too many episodes of Ghost Adventures. The other ones, I've never really played New World. I know that's a big game from Amazon, so obviously that's included. Spelunky could be interesting. Dungeons and Dragons will be a standout episode. The Outer Worlds will be another one that I think will be really, really funny. Crossfire, obviously that's a great first-person shooter. That's going to be a good one. Mega Man will be good. Concord. Yeah, should we talk about that real quick? Because Concord, I was shocked to see their name still on this list, because when PlayStation killed this game, I was like, we're never going to see this game again. We're absolutely never going to see Concord again. And if you're not aware, PlayStation shut down Concord 2 weeks after that game released. And according to analysts, they lost $400 million with that game. They released it to the marketplace. The marketplace said, and then they just shut the game down. First in PlayStation history. I don't think I've ever seen that happen to a PlayStation title ever in my entire life. And the fact that, like, it's Sony's first loss, right? This is the first time that Sony's ever got kind of mud on their face by releasing a video game. And now, in Secret Level, we're going to get more Concord. Oh, God. Like, what happens if the episode comes out and we're like, God, I missed this game? Is Sony going to be like, are you fucking kidding me? We brought this game to the market, and now y'all want it back? Like, that will be the biggest twist, is like if people see this and they're like, I want more Concord. Because clearly, Sony had massive ambitions when it came to this game. I mean, I read somewhere that Sony wanted this game to be the next Star Wars. That's how much faith they had in this game. They wanted Concord to be the next Star Wars, right? Don't just think like movies from that perspective, right? Star Wars actually obviously has movies, they have television, they have video games, but like think about toys, right? I think Star Wars is a bigger toy company than they are like a content company. So anytime somebody says like, oh, it could have been our Star Wars, I'm like, dude, you were planning on like toys? We were going to get Concord toys in the store and Concord books and Concord obviously TV shows and movies. Like, was that what y'all planned for this? Because maybe we should have just let this cook. Maybe we should have given it a couple months before we just like poo-pooed it and said like, nah, we're good. And what's even more intriguing is one of the producers for Secret Level came out this week and talked about the Concord episode. And their exact words were, it's going to show the potential of this world and their characters. And I'm just sitting here being like, dear God, we killed Concord too soon. Like, that's going to be the conversation after that episode. I feel like we're going to see the characters, it's going to shine, and we're going to be like, man, we should have given it another shot. And I'll tell you what, Sony's not going to give it another shot. This is it for Sony. I cannot see them bringing Concord back. But I do think there's a very valid question to be like, if they would have released the Concord episode on Secret Level and introduced us to the characters that way, and then they're like, oh, by the way, you can play this game right now, because people would be watching it and be like, dude, I've never heard of this game. What is this? And then boom, Concord video game came out, and then you make it free to play. Don't charge me $39.99 for a free to play game. Hell yeah, I'm all in. I think that would have been a completely different reception, and it's going to be very fascinating about Secret Level. Like, I'm hyped as it is about Secret Level, but there's episodes that I'm like, I'm going to watch first. I'm going to watch these episodes first and then kind of figure it out. But like, even the cast for this show, the cast for Secret Level is nuts. You got Keanu Reeves, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tamura Morrison, Emily Swallow, Gabriel Luna, and Kevin Hart, which I don't want to start rumors or anything, but like, I got to assume that Kevin Hart is reprising his Oscar-nominated role of Roland from Borderlands, because he knocked that one out of the park. So cannot wait to see what it does. Sorry, Kevin, that was rude. Sorry, that was very disrespectful of Mr. Hart. I love Kevin. I think he's very, 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 very funny. But God, man, Borderlands. How do you kill Batwoman or Batgirl and you don't let that show come out? But somehow, Borderlands. That's going to do it. We're going to release that one. That's going to put butts in seats. But anyway, Secret Level, the show looks absolutely fantastic. It's coming out on December 10th for Amazon Prime Video, and I cannot wait to watch this. So let me know in the comment section where you're landing on this one. I think it looks cool, but maybe y'all are a little more like apprehensive. You're like, the show's not going to be as good as you're saying. Maybe you didn't like Love, Death, or Robots. Maybe that's not your type of style. But let me know what you're thinking in the comment section down below. And obviously, while you're doing that, let's throw to a brand new game trailer. This one is a first-person puzzle adventure game called DimHaven Enigmas.
It's been way too long, and I'm really sorry for that. Recently, I ran into some major obstacles that could put my research at risk. I found something.
DimHaven? It was such a lovely place. Is it still?
I hope it is.
Why are you visiting now? After all the...
My uncle. He went missing.
Okay.
You're so cute.
We also got some news from the Pokemon trading card game Pocket Game. Man, this game, I cannot express enough how addicted I am, because this is, it's been taking over my life. Like, it's become an issue. I'm constantly opening packs, I'm building decks, I'm playing other players and wonder trades, man. I have been sinking in Wonder Trades. You know, you do a couple Wonder Trades and you're like, I got this. I'm an expert. I know exactly where the card's going to be. And then a couple times you're just like, Jesus, dude. And then the packs are the same way. You're like, man, I'm getting God packs over here. And then I was telling my friends, I was like, I think I got like 5 or 6 packs in a row that were just absolute trash and absolute garbage. But then as soon as I said that, you know, Charizard EX, and then a Charizard Full Art, and then like a Pikachu EX. And it's just like, the game is becoming an issue in my household. My daughter likes opening the packs every single night. She's like, hey, before we go to bed, can I open a pack? And I'm like, oh God, what have I done? And then she likes doing the Wonder Trades, and it's becoming an issue. I used to have a rule when it came to mobile games that the moment I get ready to buy something in the mobile game, I uninstall it because I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be the guy that at the end of the month is like, I spent $1,000 on this mobile game. But Pokemon trading card game, unfortunately, is like the exception here because like it's become an issue. I need to put like a child lock on my account when it comes to like buying cards and buying decks. But anyway, the developer dropped a bunch of news about the game of what we can like expect. They kind of put like a roadmap for the next couple months. And the first update is that new booster packs are coming by the end of the year. So in December, we're getting new booster packs. Right now, the 3 of them are Mewtwo, Pikachu, and Charizard. So we'll see what the new ones are. It'd be kind of cool if they did like more of a Gen 2 focus. So like you got more Gen 2 Pokemon in there. But it's also interesting because I don't understand why they didn't stick to like the pre-existing Pokemon trade cards as it is. Like, why wouldn't you just do like the first booster packs, the original booster packs? Like, why wouldn't you just focus on that and then you come out with like the Gen 2s and the Gen 3s, kind of like what they did with Pokemon Go where they brought generations in. But the other thing that's coming is trading, right? So they did tell us that trading cards is coming in January. However, there's an asterisk here because they said that only certain cards will be available to trade at first and then they'll eventually expand it, which I don't like. I don't like the idea that not every card is tradable because there's a couple cards I have. Like, what if they say like your EX cards can't be traded, right? Like, what if they say, you know, only standard non-hollows can be traded? And it's just like, no, I want to trade everything. Like, if I'm trading for an EX card, let me trade my EX and let me grow my deck that way. But it will be interesting to kind of what the rules are there. And then they also just teased, right? They left it off with the tease saying that more features are coming throughout 2020. I cannot hold my pencil for my life. More features are coming out in 2025. And I'm just trying to like wrap my brain around that. Like, what are more features that I would be interested in, right? Like, what would I be cool with? And like, obviously ranked matchmaking makes sense. I could see that being a thing that like, as you get better with the decks, you're going to be put in a certain pool. But then you also run the risk of like dividing the player base, right? If you only have select people that like to play and then like a bunch of sweats over here on the ranked side, you might be queuing longer because there's less people in the feed. I definitely think there's going to be a lot more like cosmetics added to this game. We're probably going to get more ways to showcase your cards, new binders, new holders, new backdrops, new mats, new sleeves for your cards. And then I think also we'll probably get like more personalization. Like maybe you'll get like new icons, you'll get new emblems and all that type of stuff. 100% we're getting that just from microtransactions. But yeah, I mean, it is cool to kind of see like what they have planned. Obviously, we're going to reach a tipping point where I'm like, I can't buy decks anymore. I can't buy cards. I can't buy booster packs anymore. I'm just going to do the free ones every day, and we'll leave it at that. But, you know, kudos to the team who are working on it. You guys are making well-deserved money on this game. It's a killer success. And I wish that same success on this next game trailer because it looks like it's going to be a fantastic party game. If you're looking for something to play with your friends or your family this holiday season, maybe check out this chaotic rodent simulator that has up to 20 games. Oh my god!
Shot. Oh god! Yes! Yes! Send me flying! Oh, I'm getting run over!
Give me your nuts! No! No!
Holy cow!
Oh, I dodged that? Yeah. Oh, God! This is crazy, dude. Yeah.
Rockstar's parent company Take-Two has confirmed that Grand Theft Auto 6 is still on track for the release of fall of 2025. So they had an investors call this week, and Take-Two basically asked about like, what's the roadmap looking like? Are we still on track? And they pretty much said, hey, Grand Theft Auto 6, we're still looking at fall 2025, so like, we're still good. There is a very good chance that that date hits and it gets delayed, and we're like spring 2026. But either way, Rockstar and Take-Two laid out their like fiscal 2026 year like lineup, and this company is going to make buttloads of cash, right? You got Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out. You have Borderlands 4, which is another game that's going to sell incredibly well. Like, that's a franchise where its player base is so loyal, and I think they're like chomping on the bits for a new Borderlands game, so they're going to be looking forward to that. And then you have a really unique game coming from the Mafia franchise called The Old Country, which I think will do very well. Everything I'm seeing from the trailers makes it look cool. It looks like a great single-player narrative experience. And kudos to Take-Two, dude. That's a lineup that's going to do very well for their company. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6 alone. You could release Grand Theft Auto 6, and that'd be the only game the company do, or the only game the company would release, and they would have a fantastic year. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold 200 million copies since the game released in 2013. That's a PlayStation 3 game. Right? We're on the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is like mid-generation PlayStation 5. We're almost at the PlayStation 6. Like, it's insane that it's been this long. And Grand Theft Auto 6, everywhere I look, every time I go on YouTube, there's a new video that's like, oh, we got new information, we got new details, we got this. And it's like, there is so much demand for this game, and people cannot wait. All we know is the story, right? Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be taking place in the streets of Vice City, and Rockstar is saying this is going to be the biggest, most immersive evolution of the Grand Theft Auto series yet, which is a big claim because Grand Theft Auto 5 felt like next gen, right? You put it in your PlayStation 3 and you're like, man, every game on the PlayStation 4 is going to feel like this. And that's nuts. Whereas like since Grand Theft Auto 5, I felt like we've kind of gotten in similar games when it comes to like open world, right? Nothing has really blown my mind to the way that Grand Theft Auto 5 did. And with Grand Theft Auto 6, I hope we get a similar experience where I'm in that game and I'm like, oh my God, we have finally gotten our first next-gen game. Like, just for example, right? Grand Theft Auto 5 made my PlayStation 4 sound like a jet engine, right? That fan was like, just the entire time you were playing it. Grand Theft Auto 6, when I plug that into my PlayStation 5, I want that thing to make my PlayStation 5 start smoking. To the point that I'm like, man, if I want to play this game, I got to drop $700 to get the PS5 Pro. Like, that's the experience that I want from this. And I think we'll get it. I don't think it's going to like destroy my PlayStation 5, but I do think this will be the first game this generation where we go, holy smokes. This is where video games are at. And this is the next gen. And, you know, everybody working on the game, I understand there's like enormous pressure behind this. Like, don't screw it up. But at the same time, Rockstar's quality and just every game they've come out with has been a banger, dude. Red Dead Redemption 2, slow as hell. One of the slowest games I've ever played, still a masterpiece. Still such a great video game. And even to this day, still think about it. Grand Theft Auto 5, every single year, #1 video game sold. #1 or #2. It's always kind of in that category of like where it's being sold. And like, people love that game. So obviously fall of 2025, on this channel, we're going to be paying very close attention. We're going to be playing the hell out of it when it releases. You best believe that. And hopefully we maybe get a review copy. Let's keep growing the channel. And maybe Rockstar is like, hey guys, you want to play Grand Theft Auto 6 early? And my response obviously is going to be please and thank you. Where do I sign? But anyway, obviously we got time to wait until Grand Theft Auto 6 finally releases. But until then, we do have a game that's available right now. It is a pizza shop simulator. In case you're tired of running your trading card shops, now you can run a pizzeria. Say what you will about Xbox, but when they have weeks, they have weeks. Like, we'll go weeks where it's just like normal stuff Xbox, but like, they must be big roller coaster enthusiasts because Xbox, I swear, dude, like, they'll have weeks where they literally have highs and they have lows and they have highs and they have lows, and their community just, I don't know what it is, man, because this week is a prime example of just Xbox having a crazy time, right? So Phil Spencer on Wednesday sits down with Bloomberg, and we get this interview that has a lot of information. Number one, purse strings are not closed. Despite spending over $80 billion to have Bethesda and Activision Blizzard, Phil Spencer is like, yo, these pockets ain't empty, bruh. Who else wants to be part of Microsoft? Come on. And like, that blows my mind. Because as someone who grew up on Dave Ramsey, I'm like, hey, you know, if you got the money, obviously paying cash, but at the same time, like, don't overextend yourself. Like, make sure what you're doing is good. Like, you just spent money on all these companies. Let's address those guys first. And let's remember how nuts this got, right? Like, Xbox bought Bethesda, which caused PlayStation to buy Insomniac, which caused Xbox to buy Activision Blizzard, which caused PlayStation to buy Bungie. And, like, it became insane to the point that it's like, well, who else is left to buy, right? And I think that might be the situation that Phil and Xbox are in. It's like, well, yeah, we could obviously buy someone, but, like, who? Capcom? Do we buy Ubisoft? Like, who else is there really out there? And realistically, with some of the stuff that's coming later in the story, it's like, I really don't know if there's a need for them to buy studios, because exclusivity is a very interesting question on the Xbox brand. But in regards to buying new studios, Phil Spencer's exact words were, we definitely want to be in the market for new studios, and when we find teams and technology and capability that add to what we're trying to do in gaming, Microsoft obviously will keep our heads up. However, he also added like the caveat here that like big studios acquisitions probably off the table. We're probably talking more like mobile developers who can like help them launch off their mobile side, which is the other part that came out in this Bloomberg interview, was that the mobile side, Xbox is struggling, right? Obviously, we all expected it. Xbox made big ambitions. They said like, hey, we're coming out with a store. So you got your Apple Play Store, you got your Google Play Store. We're going to come out with the Microsoft Store, and we're going to put it on every single phone. And I'm sure Google and Apple were like, no, the fuck you ain't. You ain't doing it. You ain't coming on our stores. We don't let Epic come on our stores. You're not going to open a store and take away from our revenue. So Microsoft's obviously running into issues there. And Phil said, like, yeah, there's easy ways to work around this, right? Like, we create a web store and allow them to go there. But, like, if you're going to do something, do it right, which 100% agree with it, right? 100%. Don't come out with some half-ass store. Do it right. Come out with a mobile store with games and knock it out of the park. But Phil did confirm that the Xbox mobile store has been delayed, right? So they're still ambitious. They're still wanting to do it. However, it's been delayed for the time being. Now, kind of going hand in hand with the mobile side, Xbox also talked about releasing a handheld. And this has been a conversation among all gamers of like, will they or will they not? Right? Xbox is in the hardware business. They release consoles, but then you get things like the Steam Deck, and you're playing Xbox games on there through Xbox Cloud Gaming, and then you get things like the Logitech G Cloud, and you're just kind of like, man, it'd be really cool if Xbox released a handheld like Nintendo, and you could take it on the go and play games. And Phil Spencer was like, yeah, that would be cool. It'd be really cool if we were working on something like that, wink, wink. And sure enough, Phil pretty much told Bloomberg internally, Xbox is working on an Xbox handheld. Now, the expectation is that this will happen, but they're in the prototype stage. Nothing has been like officially decided on, nothing has been made, so we're still a couple years out, but based on like the mobile market and their ideas there and kind of what they're wanting to do, I would say that this device will likely be more of a mobile focus. I think maybe you get like a Microsoft phone, like a Google Pixel, right? And that device can then create like phone calls. It'll have games, it'll have videos, it'll have everything that you can do in the Microsoft ecosystem, but it'll be a gaming-centric device with the first ever Microsoft Store built into it. And who knows, maybe there'll be like a Microsoft operating system built into it as well. But it's a very cool thing. Now, all three of those things, no issue whatsoever. I think that was a very solid interview. Where the issue comes down is the final thing that Phil Spencer said. And again, when I'm talking about like roller coasters, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like we talk about purse strings aren't closed. We're still interested. Oh, the mobile store has been delayed. Slight tip. But then, hey, don't worry. Xbox mobile device, handheld device coming. And then there's no red line. Phil Spencer said that when it comes to Xbox exclusives coming to PlayStation and Nintendo, there's no red line as to what's not allowed to come. His exact words were, "I don't see red lines in our portfolio that say thou must not." Even hinting at the fact that maybe one day Halo comes to PlayStation, which earlier in the year, like, this was a big issue for the Xbox player base, right? Xbox said we're bringing 4 games to PlayStation and Nintendo. We started off with Sea of Thieves, we did Grounded, we did Pentiment, and it clearly was a success. Xbox was like, let's test the waters, see how this works, and it clearly was huge. Sea of Thieves, I think for like a couple months this year, was the best-selling video game on PlayStation. Rightfully so. It's a great game. And then, you know, you're looking at like there's no red line, so it's like, what comes next? We're about to go into 2025. What other Xbox games are going to be coming to PlayStation and Nintendo next year? And honestly, if I had to guess, and I had to put money on this, like if we went to Vegas tomorrow, put money down, Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2 is going to be coming to PlayStation in 2025. That would be my prediction. Because you look at the original Hellblade, it was a PlayStation exclusive. Xbox bought Ninja Theory, Hellblade 2, not coming to PlayStation. But now, we're like a year out from that game coming. It would make total sense that you bring that game back to the player base who established how great that series was. And then we get a game like Hellblade 2 on PlayStation 2. And realistically, all of this is just so silly, right? Exclusives. I understand the argument that exclusives are necessary to make a platform, but we're in such a fluid market right now where I genuinely don't know if it serves the purpose, because your phone can be your platform these days. And so it's just like, we're in the content business. That's all anybody's in these days. And I think that's just how much it's evolved. Is we just want your attention span. We don't care if you buy our console. We just want you to pay attention to us. Now, again, following this roller coaster of a day because of Bloomberg, the fans' reactions to this were very, very mixed. You had people who were like, Xbox is abandoning the platform, and then you had other people who were like, I get it. It's not really that big of a deal. Over on X, one user said, if Xbox has nothing exclusive and you could play Xbox and PlayStation games on PlayStation, why would anyone buy an Xbox again? Another user wrote, serious question, but what would stop anybody from never buying an Xbox again if everything will be on PlayStation? Another X user wrote, if Halo makes its way to PlayStation, we will enter an era of unity this world has never seen before. The people will be rejoicing, and the gaming community as a whole will be growing for all people. Last one, as a Series X owner, this is good. I want more people to be able to play these games. Bring the PlayStation crowd over to Forza Horizon. We'll all be having fun together. It's going to be a good time. Again, very split, right? So then, that was Wednesday. Roller coaster's over, fans are very split, and then Xbox comes out with a brand new ad campaign. Okay, so you're going down, you're going down, you're going down, and then we get rumors. Hey, Xbox got a brand new ad campaign that's going to be coming cool. So the roller coaster's going up. Oh, great. Can't wait to see what it is. Xbox drops a very, very clever campaign that's called This is an Xbox. And essentially the idea is like, hey, technology has changed so much that anything can be an Xbox. So you got phones, tablets, TVs, streaming sticks, laptops, computers. All of that is an Xbox now. However, the fans who were already feeling sketchy by the red line comment were now like, dude, what the hell? What the hell is going on, right? First you said games are going to PlayStation. Now you're saying everything is a console. Are we just done with the console business? On X, users began to share photos of a PlayStation and they use the tag, this is an Xbox. And I'm like, oh God, this is bad. What is Xbox doing? And then X user Madcap412 drops probably the deepest tweet I've ever seen in my life that says, if everything is an Xbox, nothing is an Xbox. Oh, like bravo, my friend. As far as like, I've tweeted some dumb shit in my life, but that might be the greatest tweet of all time and the most philosophical tweet I've ever seen about gaming. But like, this is what began to happen, right? The roller coaster starts plummeting down. They just start gaining speed and it's dropping because people were tweeting photos of PlayStation saying this is an Xbox. Other people are posting photos of a banana and saying like this is an Xbox. I posted a photo of Patrick Starr because I was like, this is an Xbox. And I was like, no, this is Patrick. And it's just like, I love the ad campaign, but at the same time, it just goes back to Xbox 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. And that's kind of how it feels with the platform. And like, I love the team over there. I love how they're swinging for the fences. And I think out of all the platforms, they're killing it, right? They're taking the risks. They're changing the industry. They're changing the definition of what it means to be a gamer. No other platform is doing right now, right? And I think that they should be applauded for that. However, the people who are all like, abandoned ship, Xbox has given up, the console wars are over, PlayStation, Nintendo kicked the crap out of Xbox, they're even more concerned because now you're telling me there's no need for a console, right? If my phone is an Xbox, why am I going to buy an Xbox? Does that mean Xbox is no longer going to make consoles? Which leads to, which I don't know if this was a planned article, but Rolling Stones came in like the Falcon, like Captain America. So if Xbox is Captain America walking onto the field, Rolling Stones came in as Falcon and they were like, hey, Phil, on your left. Thursday evening, following the This Is an Xbox ad campaign, Rolling Stones drops a brand new article with an interview of Phil Spencer in which they talk about like the future of Xbox hardware. Phil Spencer is quoted in saying, it's an interesting topic because as we look at the brand, as we're changing the brand, it means something different. It literally was a box when it first launched. It was the DirectX box. What it's grown into now is more accessibility. Xbox isn't just one device. Xbox is on your smartphone. Xbox is on your smart TV. Xbox is on your PC. Xbox is on your phone. And we're in the middle of that transition, which is what the vision of the campaign was, right? It's trying to update the casual gamer who might not be aware that, like, you want to play Hellblade 2? You want to play Halo Infinite? You want to play Sea of Thieves? It's all available right here, bud. Boot your phone, install the Xbox app, play it right on here. Now, on the conversation of like, are you abandoning consoles? Phil Spencer responds to Rolling Stones by saying, speaking about consoles, Spencer said that he loves that people are buying Xbox hardware, but notes that it's not a growth market for the company. Our biggest growth in Xbox players is on PC and cloud. The console space all up isn't growing across all of them. We love those customers, but in terms of continuing to expand and grow Xbox, it's about PC, it's about cloud, and it's about making our games more available in more places. Okay, so there we have it, right? Console growth, it's kind of stalling out. People aren't dropping $500, $600 on consoles as much as they used to be when they can play it on other devices. And it's kind of what I'm saying. Hey, Sony fans who've been buying PlayStations for years, you want to try the new Halo? You want to try Sea of Thieves? You want to try Starfield? You got a phone? Come on over. Come get a little taste, right? Let me give you a little taste of these games. And then get you hooked and bring you in. And then when you realize that the experience on your phone isn't as great as it could be, and we're like, hey, you could always play it on a console. That person goes out, buys a console, then they're in the Xbox ecosystem. Rolling Stones also asked them, like, when it comes to cloud gaming, does this emphasis mean that, like, you're out of the device business? And so Rolling Stones went on to write, in regard to whether the company's emphasis on cloud streaming and anywhere devices means that they will cease developing new home consoles, Spencer had a definitive answer. We'll definitely do more consoles in the future and other devices. So there you have it, right from the mouth of the leader. Xbox isn't abandoning future consoles. We're still going to get a future Xbox. We're going to get a next generation Xbox. But nothing to be concerned about, right? They're just trying to bring more people to the Xbox ecosystem. And again, I know I'm kind of parroting myself here, but like, they're focusing on the future. And I think that they should be applauded for that. I think Xbox is one of those platforms that is evolving. It is redefining what it means to be a gamer, and it's also making itself super accessible, right? Like, if you want to play, name a PlayStation exclusive. If you want to play Last of Us 2 right now, you have to buy a very heavy-duty PC, or you have to buy a PlayStation 5 to play it. It's not very accessible. Whereas on the flip side, if you buy an Xbox, or if there's an Xbox game you want to play, you don't have to spend $500 to play an Xbox. You can take your phone. You can take your Chromebook. You can take your smart TV that you already own. You can take your Fire Stick, stream directly to that. Like, they're evolving who they are. And in many ways, maybe it's just because I come from the Stadia side, and I adored the vision of Stadia, and I thought it was a fresh take on the industry. And maybe that's why I appreciate what Xbox is doing. That, yes, we're sending our games elsewhere, right? We're trying to boost revenue. But the reality is we're trying to create an ever-growing ecosystem where anybody can play our games. And I think that Xbox should be applauded for that. I genuinely do. I think Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, I believe that they are innovating in the gaming industry when the gaming industry has become very stale. And the first ones through the doors always get beat up the hardest. Stadia, whew, they were clearly the first ones through the door. I think Xbox is getting beat up right now. But I think in 5 years' time, everybody is going to be doing what Xbox is doing. PlayStation, you're going to be able to play your games on your phone. You can stream. Like, imagine if Sony, just on Sony TVs, allowed you to stream PlayStation games to the TV without needing a PlayStation 5. How is that not a thing? It is 2024, almost 2025 of the year. I was about to say of our Lord Jesus Christ, but I was trying to come up with a gamer reference. So 2025, the year of Kratos. Like, how have we gotten to this point where that's not even a thing on the other platform? Nintendo. Imagine if I could just open a Nintendo app on my TV and play Mario and not have to buy a Switch. Holy hell. That would change the industry. And yes, internet needs to evolve. And yes, all this stuff needs to get better in bandwidth and blah, 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 blah. Starlink can give you gigabit internet at your house. That's more than enough to play games. More than enough. So again, we're getting to this point in the future that it's like Stadia worked 6 years ago. You had the internet, which is like 25 megabits to do. It worked. So for Xbox to focus in on this future, 3 years later? Not an issue. I think it's time. I think it's time that someone pushes the industry forward and says, hey, we're redefining what it means to be a gamer. We're going to create gamers everywhere. And I think that that's kudos to them. I honestly, when it comes to like a mobile device, I think them coming out with the Steam Deck is smart. Have a mobile device that can play your games, that you can install games on. But at the same time, there's still going to be the conversation of, why should I buy the Xbox handheld device when I can just hook a controller to my phone, play games on there? Why would I do anything different? So anyway, very, very interesting times on Team Xbox. And again, these are just my opinions. You might disagree. You might agree. Sound off in the comment section down below, letting me know your thoughts. But that wraps up this week's episode, this very long-winded episode of the Nerf Report. Thank y'all so much again for hanging out with me this week. I appreciate you spending the time talking video games with me, learning about new games, watching trailers. As always, if you liked the video, hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily and get some extra videos a month, what is it like? I think we're coming out with 20 extra videos a month exclusive to members. Maybe we could consider becoming a Nerf Report casual friend. We don't have to be best friends. You can just have a casual friend. That's like 99 cents a month. 20 extra videos, 99 cents a month, and we're going to be growing that library. Oh my God, I just punched my mic. I think it's time for us to wrap up the video. I'm starting to fight the mic. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you all have a very blessed weekend and a fantastic week. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video.